Milligan here, Milligan Farms. Today we are going to make sourdough bread. This bread is so delicious, so easy to make, and I'm going to show you just how to do it. Look at that. Oh my gosh. This is so good. Come on. All right, so for this recipe, it's going to be quite simple. And the things that you will need is a bowl, a scale, a dough whisk, a little scraper. I mean, you don't need all these things, but these are really helpful. I really like these because it scrapes around the bowl. Some filtered water, and of course, your sourdough starter. Now, for my starter, I like to feed it the night before, which I have done. And I actually just use like a dry erase marker to mark where it started and where it ended up. And this thing is just stunning right now. I mean, if sourdough starter could be stunning, she's stunning. Let's take a look at her. Oh my lanta. Just thick and bubbly. And she just really did the job today. Look at that. So nice. All right, so we are going to measure in grams, and we're going to start with water. We're going to use 350 grams of water. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like I've always said, I feel like people try to get it too perfect, and then you know, it just becomes more stressful than anything. Sourdough is supposed to be a lot of fun once you learn how to do it. So don't worry about all that. Then we're going to do, I like to use 100 grams of active starter. Some people use 50, some people use 150. I think 100 is really great for my taste. So let's do 100 grams of this beauty. And again, don't stress if you go over, like I just went over. I have 140 grams now. And that's okay, it's gonna work out just fine. All right, then give that a little stir. Get it all nice and bubbly and frothy and all blended together. Now we're going to use all-purpose flour. Now, some people use whatever they have on hand. I agree with that. A lot of people use bread flour, but whatever you're using, unbleached. You don't want any bleaching going on. So we're gonna do 500 grams of, for what I have is unbleached all-purpose flour. And again, if it goes over, that's okay. Take a little out and you'll be fine. Whoops, making messes already. That's the fun part too. All right, give that a little stir. Stir up as best as you can with this whisk. That's what I like to do. And then the rest is all done by hand. Here's the best part. Let's get our hands nice and wet. Get them all nice and wet. And let's get our fingers all up in here and dig in. Scrape the sides of the bowl and just incorporate all of that. You don't want any dry bits. You want it all to be nice and incorporated. Ooh. I also use this to scrape it off of my hands. It works really well. All right, it's looking nice. All right, once that's done, wash your hands. Also, what I like to do is I wash my hands in a separate bowl in the sink so that way none of that sourdough starter or the stickiness gets down your sink, because that stuff will damage some pipes. So that's where this comes in. We're gonna scrape all the excess off of the bowl and kind of stick it back to the ball of dough. And it is perfect. I like to cover mine as well, which you should do. You can either use a towel, you can use a plate, or I buy these little things and I love them. So let's let that sit for an hour and we'll be back. All right, I've put a little bit of salt in here, about 10 grams. I like to use pink Himalayan salt. You could use whatever salt you like. And then we're just gonna do some stretch and folds on that. Get it squished in there. Get your hand a little bit wet. It makes it easier to deal with. And just do, I don't know, just go around the bowl maybe once or twice until a little ball forms. And then that is your stretch and folds. You just gotta go under, pull up, under, pull up, and it'll look like that. And then we'll put this back on and do it again in about 30 minutes. All right, it has been 30 minutes again. Let's do some more stretch and folds. Get your little hands wet, just one will do. Go under and pull up. Under, pull up. Scrape underneath the dough and pull it up. Try not to break the dough. You don't want to break it. Just stretch and fold it all the way around until you have yourself another little ball just like this. I like to scrape it off of the bottom of the bowl. Sometimes I like to pull it up and kind of like tuck it under itself too, kind of to give it some of that tension. And then it becomes a nice little roll there. All right, let's cover it again and come back for another stretch and folds. All right, it is that time again. Get your hand wet and start that stretch and fold. Up, over, scoop from the bottom, up, over, and so on and so forth. You know, sometimes people like to do coil folds too, and for that you'd get both of your hands wet and you kind of just pick up from the bottom and lift it and then turn it, pick up from the bottom. It's easier with bigger loaves, but for these smaller loaves, stretch and folds are fine. Or you could just pick it up and slap it down. You can really do whatever you want. As long as you're creating tension in the bread, it's gonna turn out beautifully, I promise you. Nice. All right, one more time after this, and the stretch and folds will be over. See you in a minute. All right, we are back for our last and final stretch and fold. For this one, I'm going to let you guys get an up-close look at how I do these stretch and folds. So let's get in here. All right, let's get our hands wet and get on in there. So pull it from the bottom, up, turn, up, turn. Again, try not to break it, just kind of push it to its limit. And then, you know, this is a really small loaf, so, well, it's a normal loaf, but I usually do batches of like 5 loaves. So I do like to kind of pick it up and turn it like this and tuck it under itself. And then that kind of creates that really nice tension that you look for when you're making a loaf. And there it is. A beautiful little loaf of bread. Everything's done, everything's worked through. Now this becomes the time where we let it do its long bulk ferment. So I started this bread early this morning. That's why I feed my starter at night, and I start my bread early in the morning so that I can finish all my stretch and folds and let it bulk ferment right in front of my eyes so that I can see what it's doing. That way I'm not wondering if it's over fermenting during the night. That's what I like to do. So now I'm going to cover it. Actually, I like to get this really wet and moist and then cover it. And then I also really like, if I want it to hurry up its fermentation, I like to use these mats. I have a couple of these and I use them for seeds too when I'm growing, which is coming soon. And these mats are amazing for getting the dough to rise a little bit quicker so that you're not having to stay up till 10 o'clock at night just to shape bread. So stick it on there and we will be back when this dough has risen and it's beautiful. All right, we are back and the bread is ready. It's been about 4 hours. I went and picked up some kids from school, so don't mind any noise that might come of that. The dog's also in here as well, so she likes to bark. But this is what your bread should look like. You should be able to stick your finger in it without getting too sticky on you. And then I'm just gonna use like a little spatula to kind of guide it out of here nicely. And then we'll shape it. All right, we've put it on a floured surface and we're gonna just kind of spread it out a little bit. And mind you, it does not have to be perfect in any way, shape, or form. This is the basket I'm using and I just have like a little tea towel or a napkin. And we're gonna sprinkle some flour in that and get this all shaped up. Gonna fold it over and then fold it again and then just kind of shape it. You'll just want to form a nice tight ball. Kind of push it, pull it, push it, pull it, pop all the little bubbles that might be on the top of it. And that's about it. It's pretty simple. There goes Dash. And then we will, once we have it shaped, we will put it in the basket like this. And you kind of just want to like almost stitch it up. It's very, you want it to get nice and tight while it sits in the basket. And now it will sit in here for overnight in the fridge. Dust it with a little flour so it doesn't stick to the napkin. There's my dog and child. And there you have it. Now it will go in the fridge overnight and tomorrow morning we will bake this thing. All right everyone, we're back and it is raining a lot outside right now. But our bread has been sitting in the fridge overnight and it is ready to be baked. So what we're gonna use today, I've actually set the, what is it called? Stove, goodness sake. I've set it at 450 and I'm going to use 2 different things to bake these loaves because I did make 2 extra ones. We're gonna use a Dutch oven, which I'm warming up in the oven while it's heating up. That is my suggestion. Warm it up while it's heating up. Or if you want, you can use these bread pans. I sometimes use these as Dutch ovens, plus also it's easier for us to slice when we're eating it with sandwiches and whatnot. And you just use one, and then you put the other one on top, pop it in the oven just like a Dutch oven. Works beautifully. So if you have any of those, or if you have a certain preference, then I would use that. I also have these little parchment paper liners to put in here. And then we're also going to need some flour if we're gonna put in any designs on any of them. And then also, obviously, our little scoring tool. So, let's get to it. So we're gonna do the one that goes in the Dutch oven first because we're gonna do some little designs on it or something, just for fun. Because, I mean, I enjoy having fun with my sourdough. So here is the first one. And we will get some flour on that, just so that you can see the design a little bit more. And I'll bring you a little bit closer so you can watch. All right, we're just gonna do a simple score. I like to do these little grain stalks here. They're pretty easy to do. And then maybe let's add a little to it. And then we'll just turn it around and do our big score. And this just helps the bread expand when it needs to. And that's all it is. Let's get this in our super hot Dutch oven. All right. Perfect. And let's get it back in the oven. And we are going to bake this for 30 minutes with the lid on. Now for these ones, we're just gonna put them in these bread tins. And we're not gonna do any special scoring or anything. I mean, you can, you still can. And again, I get these little things off Amazon. I'll link everything in this video that I've used in the description of this video so that you guys can just go ahead and get on over there and get it if you need it. So we're gonna get this on this paper, straighten it out, give it a little score, and then just stick it right in there. Next one. Ooh, these are gonna be so good. Ooh, this one's a little bit bigger. I didn't really measure these. I don't really ever measure a lot of stuff. You'll know that if you've been watching this for a while or watching our farm. Score that, put it in there. Ooh, way bigger difference. This one's a little bloated over here. And then I like to spray these with water, just a little bit of water. You can also take your hand from the sink and just grab some water and just splash it on top. This gives it a little bit of steam that normally the Dutch oven would give, and it just makes it a little bit nicer. So we'll get these in, same exact thing, 30 minutes with the lid on, and then we will take the lid off and do it for about 12 more minutes after that. Time's up, everyone. Let's get these tops off of all this bread. It smells so good in here, I wish you could smell it. Ooh, toasty. About 12 more minutes and it should be perfect. Oh goodness, can you guys see the lift on that? Look at that. Oh lordy lord. Oh my goodness. Yes. That's that chubby kid we put in there in the middle. About 12 minutes, just keep looking at them and making sure, oh, what's going on here? Making sure that they don't burn. I like to turn the light on so I can watch them. They're ready. Look at that, everyone. Holy cow. What a beautiful loaf of bread. Just stunning. Beautiful. Here's the big guy. Well, more of like the artisan loaf looking guy. And then you'll want to pop these out of whatever they were in and let them cool down before you slice into them. That is the rule, at least the unwritten rule that everybody says that they have to do. We don't do that here. When this stuff comes out, we slice right into it because man, warm bread with some fresh butter is delicious. Let's pick this up. It's hot. And there you have it. Just a beautiful loaf of sourdough bread. They turned out so nice. Look at this sandwich loaf. So pretty. We are so thankful that you all joined us today. It was so much fun making this bread. It smells divine in this kitchen. Like, I'm probably gonna have some kids come out of the woodwork somewhere because they love fresh bread. We hope that it worked out for you. If you have any questions about what we did today, just put it in the comments and we will do our best to get those answered. Any supplies that we used today, I'm gonna link those in the description. Also, the full recipe I will put in the description as well. We loved having you guys today, and we're so thankful for everyone that continues to support our little farm, and we appreciate you more than you will ever know. We hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. Happy baking. Bye.